Ladies and gentlemen, bonjour and welcome at La Table Ronde, the political show of TVC 22. Today we are Friday, August 17th, a few days away from when all of the candidates will be allowed to install their signs in some of your lawns and across the city. It will be like a family of mushrooms popping up. However, today I have the pleasure of presenting to you one of the candidates for Ward 1, Lorraine Séguin. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Joe.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Lorraine, you've been born in Rockland, lived here all your life. However, some people probably don't know you, whether it's within your ward or something else, because Rockland has grown so much. I know when I moved here in the early 60s, it was about 3,000 people. Today, it's quite different. It's at least 5 times that.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would like to invite you to introduce yourself. Talk to us about your career, your education, some of the volunteer work if you've done, family, obviously, and anything else that we would be interested in knowing about Lorraine Séguin.
Great. Thank you so much. Hi there, everybody out there. My name is Lorraine Séguin. I was born and raised in Rockland, attended St. Trinity School, then went to Rockland High School, which became in 1967 L'Escale. From there, I went to Teachers College from 1967 to 1969 at the University of Ottawa, and in 1990, I finally completed my Bachelor in Arts History at Ottawa U. Since my high school years, I was always involved in various committees. I taught from 1969 to 2002, then became a substitute teacher from 2002 to 2015. I had a chance to realize one of my dreams to teach at L'Escale. But at a certain time, I decided it was finally time to stop going to school. During my teaching career, I participated in many committees. What I loved putting together different shows with my students and organized field trips like going to Toronto and Le Village d'Antan in Drummondville, where students lived the life of pioneers. Also worked as a consultant for CSD CEO. I was a member of AEFO, representative of this association, and also in the executive committee. Since my retirement, active member of ERO-RTO, which is Retired Teachers Association in Toronto, especially in this district of Prescott-Russell, and I am now the president. Volunteering is my passion. Since 2002, I worked at the Centre d'accueil Roger Séguin. And since 2009, I volunteer at the Rockland Food Bank every Wednesday morning. In 2010, I became a member of the Administrative Council and coordinator for fundraising at the schools in Clarence Rockland. Still very active, especially when we have the municipal food drive in December and around Christmas time for giving gifts for needy children. For 3 years, I worked for Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm now a member of the Club Amical Belle-Rive and also in the Administrative Council. I have experience in group leadership, group management, understanding the issues and challenges youth and older people of this community, in knowing what are the needs of my community, aptitude in work, teamwork, and bilingual. That's a little bit of what I have done, and as a family, okay? Like you said, I juggle a lot of things together. So I had my teaching career, then I have 2 kids, 2 boys, which are now 38 and almost 36. They were very involved in sports, in school and out of school. I was also in committees for schools like treasurer or organizing fundraising for those different sports they were in. I was a taxi, okay? a taxi mom for sure. I'm married to Marcel Séguin, who is also from Rockland East. Marcel worked in Rockland for many years. And he was also a member of the Ottawa Golf Course for a certain number of years, but because of his accident, he doesn't play as much as before. And he also organized the Rockland Open when it was going on in the last 20 years, but now it has come back again. So I'm very happy for that organization to come back. So I was able to juggle my family, my career, the sports, and also going to university, because in those days I did not stop working. I continued as going to school as at night during the summertime, when we had courses like in May and June, 4 nights a week. So it was a long process, but I finally got it. And in 1990, I was very happy to graduate and get my diploma.
Your diploma, get your BA.
Oh, yes, I was very happy.
Because back then, when you started to work as a teacher, you needed grade 12, and you went to the École Normale.
Yeah, we needed grade 12, or pre-U, like they called it, pre-university, like it's equivalent to grade 13. And just college, but in French we call it l'École Normale de l'Université d'Ottawa. And then we could start teaching. So I started teaching quite young. And then after that, they told us that we needed to have our bachelor's. So that's when I started gradually. And I went to school even pregnant, like going to the university, even pregnant or whatever. So I was very busy. And it's part of my character. It's part of me to be very, very busy.
Yeah, you're very determined.
Very determined.
Okay.
Very active person.
I just want to touch on your two sons for 1 second.
Okay.
Because as adults, they sort of got interested in a sport which is a bit nerve-wracking for parents.
Yes, it was. Like I said a little while ago in French, that's where I got my gray hair, because my two sons were race car drivers for performance cars, not NASCAR or those things like that, but like a Honda that is performing like on a racetrack. My youngest one, Marc-André, was mostly involved in the regional races, but my other son, which is extremely competitive, Patrick, raced in Ontario, Quebec, and a lot of places in the United States. He was in a World Challenge Series, which is like professional series. He kept on going on like that until his sponsor could not sponsor him anymore, so it was time to quit.
It was time to quit.
But now what they do is they bike, and of course Patrick is in competition. He's like kind of guy who like those races like we see on TV, like the Tour de France.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Okay. Since I've interviewed your son, I can see him doing that.
Oh, yes, he's very competitive. He wants to go fast. It's in him, too. It's like an energy that he has in him.
Okay, so he has to burn that energy.
He has to burn that energy for sure, because for him, just going, he does go just for on a bike ride just for the fun of it, but for him, it's not competition.
It's not fun.
No.
Not as fun.
No.
Okay. I would like you to tell us what's attracting you to become a member of council? Why do you want to represent the citizens of Ward 1?
Okay, that's a very good question that has been asked to me often since I put out my candidacy at the town hall. A lot of people say, do you know what you're getting into? I say, I think so. I know that's a lot of work. It's many hours of reading and being in the public eye for sure. But I'm not afraid of that. I've always accepted new challenges. And I think at this time of my life, it's like on the bucket list.
Right.
This is something I have to do. I always wanted to make a difference in my community. And this is I'm doing it as I do work in the community as a volunteer. But this is something I can grow with them and try to make it the best thing possible for me. And for them.
So, and be part of the decision process.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's what I heard, but you didn't say it.
Okay.
Now, when someone decides to become a member of council and whatever, at the provincial and federal level, it's different. But when municipal-wise, you represent a ward. You represent the district is a lot smaller. In Clarence-Rockland, we have 8 wards, 8 districts, and candidates normally will try and determine what the needs are for that ward and sometimes the municipality. So what is your political platform?
Okay, my political platform is the following one. First of all, a fiscal prudence, to make sure that the taxes are not going crazy, like going very, very high. Make sure that all the projects that are already going on can be completed. Also to make sure that I know that a lot of people say that the taxes are very expensive, are very high in this community in Clarence Rockland. I know that it's for some cases it's higher than the ones in Orleans, and that they don't get all the services from a bigger region. But of course, we are a growing community.
Right.
Probably this will come down at a certain time in our growth. So we have to be prudent. We have to make sure that the money that we get from their taxes is very well spent and not going on projects that are not really necessary right now, that are going down like a little bit later on.
And it can be done later on.
Yeah. Okay. Promotion of local businesses. I find that we do have a lot of stores in Rockland, a lot of different ones to be able to meet the needs of our community. So it's a good thing for us to make sure that they are encouraged because it's their living too. It's their way of life. For myself, I'm 99% buying local. For almost everything we need at home, we buy it local. If I cannot find it, of course, I'll go elsewhere. But it's not something that I will do like, okay, I'm going to go to Ottawa just for this. No, I'm going to find it here. If I can't, well, then I'll go Orleans or Ottawa, whatever. But I find that it's here that is important.
Number one.
Number one is us. That's one way of also growing in our community and making sure that these merchants that have been here for a long time or are starting a new business, well, they get this encouragement from all the residents of this municipality.
And the merchants are the ones that a lot of our sports teams, for example,
yes,
will go and knock at their door and ask them to sponsor them.
Oh yes, they're very, very generous. We cannot take away any of that because they are very generous. But for everything here, for fundraising or whatever, we do live in a very generous community. Very generous community. Like improving the infrastructures, I know that right now there's a plan that has been made for 10 years, started in 2018, it's finishing supposedly in 2028, for the infrastructures, either to develop more or to maintain them properly. I know that we've been blessed because not a long time ago, our St. Jacques Street has been done with repavement, and now it's beautiful. There's no bumps and whatever, so everybody is very happy.
Was it done from Laurier all the way
It was done from all the sections that were not needed.
Right.
Were not like resurfaced, but all the sections that were very badly like damaged were redone. Okay. So now we have to be careful, because cars sometimes don't go a little bit too fast. Oh. So we have to make sure that the speed doesn't go too fast, because we have a couple of streets. It's a very, very long street.
Yes, it is.
A very long street.
That's why I went. I said from Laurier and
yeah, until you get to Heritage.
Exactly.
And there's an older section and a newer section, so it's a very, very, very long street.
Okay.
Updating community services like parks and recreation, like accessibility to people that have special needs is very important, for ramps, for making sure that they feel safe and they feel that there's a possibility of no accident. We have parks right now, 3 parks right now that have finished the construction of a pathway made for those people with special needs, so that is fantastic.
So wheelchairs,
walkers, or even with parents with their strollers or whatever. Right. We have to think of those too.
Yes.
We did that at a certain time. For strollers, and also for recreation, to make sure that our adolescents in our community have a place to go, have things for them, because we often think of the younger generation, the older generation, but we missed this middle section, and it's very, very important for them to feel that they belong in a community. So I know that when we have our fundraisers, we get a lot of help from the high school students.
Right.
Either from the Rockland Public School, Rockland High School, or L'Escale. Those students, they volunteer, and they're so happy to do it. So we need to bring more of that for that young generation of
More activities.
More activities, not necessarily more fundraising, because I know it's part of their curriculum. They have to have 30 hours of volunteering before they get their diploma in grade 12. But some of them, after that, they continue. They want to do something else.
Right.
So it's a positive that is coming out of it. And I find that if we had a lot of different activities for those adolescents, more positive would come. Like I know there's a project at the library right now for adolescents, so I find that is fantastic for that.
I have to just...
Cut me.
Yep, not cut you. We need to take a break. And Lorraine will continue with the rest of her political platform. So please remain with us. We'll be back just in a few seconds.
And I'll take a drink of water. It's not a glass of wine, but it's water. It's good anyway.
Thank you for having remained with us, ladies and gentlemen. We are continuing our discussion with Lorraine Séguin, one of the candidates in Ward 1. Lorraine, just before the break, you were right in the middle or near the end of giving us your electoral platform. So would you please continue?
Okay, the last thing I have on my platform is respect of the environment. I know that is very important for future generations. There's a group, we have a committee here in Rockland that is working in the environmental committee, and they're working on different strategies to improve this issue. And for me, it's very important because everything that goes into Mother Earth that doesn't dissolve or whatever is a nuisance for forests, for whatever, for nature, and for the animals too. So I find that is very, very important.
The air we breathe, the water we drink.
Everything. Pollution, everything is like into this issue because it is very important to make sure that we live in a good environmental.
Yes. How do you see your role as a counselor, not as a counselor, but your role in relations to the citizen of your ward and in relation also to the members of council?
Okay. The importance of my ward, because I'm in Ward 1, I have big shoes to fill because Jean-Marc Lalonde has retired, let's say. He'll be retiring when the new council takes over. Yep. These are the residents voting for what they think is the best candidate. Okay? That is very important. So I have to lend an attentive ear to their worries, their opinions, their ideas. I also need to respect the needs of all the families I represent because I have different ages, people with no family, with family, or on their own, and so on. So it is important to respect everybody. I have to make sure that they feel safe, that the improvement of the infrastructures do follow the 10-year plan that has been determined, fairness for taxes, and to continue to encourage local merchants because I have a lot of local merchants in my ward. As a council member for a specific ward, you also become a councillor for the entire community. It's part of a whole. You cannot say, I'm just doing this for my ward. You also have to think of the other ones. You have to think of what's going on in Ward 8, let's say. So because everything is intermingled, everything is together. So the work of a councillor consists to ensure continuity of various projects for every resident of your municipality so that the quality of life is improved for everyone. So either count as a councillor for your ward or as a member of the council board or at the table, which is not round. Anyway, the role is to listen, to respect opinions, to be visible in the community, to ensure that changes made are beneficial to everybody, to all the residents, to be honest and transparent. I think that's the most important thing for my ward and also to be in the council too, because you cannot separate both of them. No. You work for a ward, but you also work for the municipality, not the city of Clarence Rockland.
La Cité. Okay. There are many tasks to do at council. And members of council are obviously involved in these tasks, in
Yeah.
these services, in these committees. Which one would you like to work on? Whether it's 1, 2, 3, and why would you like to? Why would you like to devote your time to those committees?
Knowing me, I could be in all of them, maybe except the budget. Because for mathematical or whatever, I prefer leaving that to people that are more expert than I am. But for that, I could be in anyone. I could be involved in recreational, cultural, the library, environmental. I could be in all of those. But I know we have to decide which one, or they can assign you a committee. The one that is particularly interesting for me is the one dealing with accessibility issue. A few projects are right now on the go. In this week, we saw that the vision that came for this week, we saw that 3 parks have been, the work has been finished so that people can really profit from this park. They can go without having no accidents or whatever. They feel safe.
They can go down with their wheelchair.
Yeah,
and
they can.
enjoy it.
They feel safe. There's another project also that is on the go to make a park really for the people that have special needs, and either young adults and the ones that don't need them. So it's a beautiful project that is on the go right now. The people that are working for it, it's fantastic the work they put in and the work that is still to be done. They will be an example for our community and maybe for a lot of areas around us. So that is a fantastic project. These are things that I love to be involved because you can see the smiles on people that can use those different facilities for them because they feel that finally we're thinking of them.
Okay.
So even if you are in a wheelchair, you have a walker, you're going with a cane, you have a stroller, at least it's accessible to everybody. Also, make sure the ramps around here are also safe, that people can't fall or whatever. So this is also a very important one for me.
Good. As we know, there's only so much money in the pie.
Yes, there is.
You know, and some goes to administration.
Yeah, a certain
repair,
percentage.
operation of trucks and equipment of all kind. And therefore, then afterwards, there's money to repair roads and etc. If you had to choose one item because there's not enough money to go around.
Oh, no, not enough money for
to
sure.
go around. So if you could only do one thing during your mandate, what would it be?
I think this is an answer that could be easily given by almost all the new candidates or even the ones that are still there in the council, is to make sure that we can improve route Highway 17. That is such a hard project to get on or to get finished because personally I would not like to travel every day to Ottawa and come back. It's like a traffic jam all the time. Sometimes it looks like a parking lot. You're not moving. And a lot of our people that do come in to stay in Rockland at a certain time, they decide to leave because they're fed up with all that transportation thing. And also if we were able to have a better 17 double lanes or whatever, 4 lanes, I'm sure that a lot of a lot of commercial companies would like to come here because we do have nice facilities for them. We do have lands. I know that the one near 17 near the arena is almost like full, but there's still some land that I'm sure that they could establish themselves, and that would help for the taxes. That would provide local work, like local
jobs.
Work for jobs for the people around us. So I think that would be like a priority. I wish I can see that before I get too old to travel.
One question, and I'll ask you to answer it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Because as time is flying by. Do you think we should have annual tax increases? Yes or no, and why?
I find that yes, we should have, but being that those taxes increase should go with what are the projects that are coming. If we freeze it, well, if we freeze for a certain number of years, we're back to the same problem, I find. Personally, that's what I find. If we say, okay, the taxes won't go up for 1 year, it's still the same thing because you're holding up projects that could be done. So I think it has to be the tax should be like when they go up, they should be like fair and just for everybody. Not try to, like right now, we're not like in Orleans. I know that some people that are paying taxes right now say they pay more than Orleans.
Right.
And so, and the services are not all the same, but we have to think we are a growing community. So maybe at a certain time, we'll have those same services that they have. Like maybe, I don't know if the whole trade could come to Rockland, but it's a possibility. We never know. So I look to the future. I'm really looking to the future. But I know that for now, because I know that a lot of people say their taxes has gone up a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And we need to see that, to study that very carefully, to try to bring a solution to those complaints of high taxes, because yes, of course, mine went up too. So I know that everybody is going through the same thing, the same process. So it's very, very hard. So I think good studies, make sure that we are spending the money on the things that we really need, and maybe try to cut on some things that we do not need, like some things that are not like for tomorrow morning, let's say. They could be old for a year or two or whatever. So I think that would be a way of answering that. Yeah. But I know that our taxes, we give a certain percentage goes to the municipality. Another percentage goes to the United Counties of Prescott-Russell.
Approximately 10 million a year.
And well, I don't want to give all the numbers, but and after for the schools, it's the same thing. There's also a percentage that is going to that. So I know that we need the United Counties because they do have the right for certain improvement for the streets and whatever, for the roads and whatever.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
I know.
So I have to invite you to say a few words to the people in Ward 1 and naturally all of Clarence Rockland.
All of Clarence Rockland.
As well.
Okay. First of all, I'll start with this little line. Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. I'm at a stage in my life or I want to make a difference in my community on a larger scale. Like I already mentioned, I want to meet and listen to all of you, make sure our ward is not forgotten in the rapid growth of our community. I'm not a person to make empty promises. That is why I'm not making any. My goal is to serve you to the best of my knowledge, ready and willing to work hard for you. I am an energetic, honest, and transparent person. Already quite active in the community, I'm not afraid to work hard and bring projects to term. We all need to continue building our future together. Vote for me starting on October 17 to the 22nd. I am your candidate.
Thank you. So thank you for having me with us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that you have found this candidate to be someone you may consider, and therefore I say to you, see you next time.